And I go deeper than that. When we were doing Section 80, we used to record on a broken microphone. The mic, the literally was broke where you hear the.
Yo, what's going on, guys? You're watching Kids Take Over right now. Vancouver to LA, so that's where we're from, by the way.
Word, okay, I bet. Yeah, my business partner from Vancouver, Deep Cove.
No way, I've been to Deep Cove to go canoeing. I'm guessing, have you been there on tour before?
Yeah, for the Dam tour, there was a stop in Vancouver. And I just ended up staying like an extra few days just because it's so beautiful. Yeah, went kayaking on the ocean.
Nice. Oh, I went to that concert. That's when Travis opened up, right? Yeah. Yeah, no, I wish more artists would stay in Vancouver and like even record there because it's a nice place. You know?
Right. It's beautiful, man. I heard a lot of people just have like houses on the water, just kind of a good place to get away.
Yes, definitely. Well, we're here with Mixed by Ali, bro. Like, I'm so happy to do this because I think like the catalog of work you've worked on is probably like, you could say like it's one of the greatest of all time, really. And you're just doing so much outside of that too. But I guess the first thing that I want to even talk to you about is like very random. We were just talking about this, but I had this audio issue, right? So we did this interview with SoFaygo, great artist, and we use these things called these Zoom H1s, right? Let's see if you know anything about this. So we recorded it, right? And then it showed up on this that it was recording. So I took the SD card, put it in my computer, and then it just, the file wasn't there, you know? So I took the card and put it back into this, and then the file wasn't in here either. Right.
Like, I'm sure you could probably record it to the device, and it has to be saved to the card from the device. Is that what happened?
Like, it saved to the card, you know?
Oh, wow. And it still wasn't there?
Yeah, so like what do you even do about that, you know?
Man, just call bro and ask him, hey, SoFaygo, you got to pull up on bro again. You got to knock it out. What?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of weird though. Like imagine we did this interview and then I pulled up on you again. I'm like, yo, let's do that exact same thing again. You'd be like, that's kind of weird. No?
I feel that. I mean, it depends on how cool you are. It depends. You never know.
Nah, that's true. Well, I mean, what we did though is like, there's the camera audio, right? So like, there was a bit of wind noise in the back. So like, I kind of just used like the denoiser effect and like tried to get as much of that as I could. But once you do that, it kind of makes their voice sound like a bit more like underwater.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, that's one thing about audio, right? It's, sometimes you might not have the best environments. Sometimes you might not have the best equipment. You might not, have the best things you need to be successful. You got to make it work,
Yeah.
Obviously, people respect the fact that, he still is trying to get this out there because it was that good of an interview. So, sometimes you got to compromise, find middle ground to get it out,
So you think I should try to get it out and just...
Without a doubt, or go to EngineEars, you can find one of the best engineers and see if they could tweak it, get the air out, just figure out if they could just EQ it better for you and just make it more presentable.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on that budget, so I'm just going to do it myself. But hey, I'll do my
Talk
best.
to me after. I think I can help you out.
Oh, word. Okay.
Gotcha.
Have you ever had a similar situation where, some file got completely corrupted or you just had like a really big issue and you had no idea how to fix it?
And I go deeper than that. When we were doing Section 80, we used to record on a broken microphone. The mic, the literally was broke where you hear distortion coming out of it. And at the time, we had no money to go and just go to the store and go buy a new mic real quick. A couple $100 was, that was $1 million to us. So, instead of, like I mentioned earlier, finding a way to trying to find the good in all bad situations. So instead of, just not recording, we added extra distortion on the plug-in side to mask the mic distortion to give it more of an effect.
Right.
So sometimes you gotta just like, again, man, you life gives you lemons, you gotta make lemonade.
For sure.
A cliche ass saying, but hey.
Nah, but it's true. Yeah. That's true. So you guys kind of recorded the whole album just on that mic?
Majority of it, man. If you listen to Section 80, a lot of the stuff is crazy distortion vocals. But again, it was all masked with distortion plugins and different effects to make it sound like it was intentional.
That's hard. That's hard. Well, just so people have a bit of background on you, I know you've done other interviews, so I don't want to go to your entire upbringing, but did you go to school for mixing? Like, how did that work?
Yeah, nah, I didn't. I tried. I remember going to the LA recording school and they just they gave me a pamphlet and it was like $30,000 or $60,000 and like instantly threw it out the fucking window.
Yeah, fuck that.
I couldn't afford it. These things. I knew this is something I wanted to do, but unfortunately, times were hard and I couldn't afford it. So it was mostly trial and error for me. During the whole journey.
I got you. I mean, there's a lot of young people that watch this channel. And of course it worked out. It clearly worked out for you. You don't have to go to school, but would you say school is more so necessary nowadays if you want to get into mixing or producing?
Not necessarily. You know, in my opinion, you know, excuse me, I don't want to judge anybody else's opinion on how they think about school.
Yeah, because you have your own
whatnot.
experience.
You know, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But, you know, when it comes to sound in general, my stance and my position on that is, you know, how can somebody tell you how to hear something? You know, how can a book tell you how music should be made in 2021 when this book was maybe made in the 80s or the 70s? You know, the techniques are different. You know, the equipment was different. The music is different. The approach to creating the music is different. So, you know, I'm a big avid, you know, I tell people, yo, you take time to learn specific things that you like on your own, and then whatever catches your attention, then delve into that, you know. Grow your network, you know, find something that interests you, and then from there, really kind of just drown and succumb yourself into that knowledge, that information, by just searching for it, you know.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, honestly, yeah, like even nowadays, like I don't know everything about filming, but I know the basics just by watching a couple YouTube tutorials.
Right.
And then doing the interviews and seeing like, all right, what can go wrong?
Trial and error, you know what I'm saying? That's what I talk about.
Well, just for people who don't know, like what was kind of like your big break, you'd say, in the industry, because, you know, you're someone you worked alongside like really big artists.
First big break, it was just everything we were doing early on with TDE. You know, we all started just, you know, in a back house, no commercial success, no fans, no nothing. And to start really seeing the following grow and grow and grow organically, you know, I really realized, yo, this is something that we're doing and it's important. You know, it's really all focus and see where this takes us.
Yeah, no, the growth of TDE has been unreal. But even just like, you know, you work with artists like outside of that, like so many other big artists, like, you know, the Gambinos and whatnot. And you've mentioned in a previous interview that you feel like young people are just completely changing the way that we live, like our daily lives, right? Who are some young, like innovative creators that you're really messing with lately? Because I saw you did stuff with like FrvrFriday, who's from Canada.
Right.
Who else? Like I guess like for me, I love SoFaygo. He's a young guy. He's just signed to Travis.
Yeah.
Who are some of those people for you?
I mean, I'm loving FrvrFriday. Super talented Baby Keem is, you know, is going to be a legend. You know, again, working with Malik Moses, heavy, and on top of doing everything else that I'm doing, you know. So, you know, when I let music organically come to me, and I feel it. But nowadays, I have to really talk to the artists and really get an understanding of what their future goals in this career, you know, rather than just listening to their music, you know. You know, anything that I work on and attach myself to, you know, it has to be bigger than just, you know, a record for today, you know. I want to be a part of longevity projects. I want to be a part of a 10-year legacy, a 20-year legacy of an artist coming on, so I'm very selective on who I work with.
I hear you on that. I mean, you mentioned Baby Keem, like, I think you did No Sense, right? What was your first impressions on working with Baby Keem? He's like, I think, definitely like you said, he's probably going to be like the future of with the next like couple 6 years, you know?
Right. I mean, he's a genius, man. Because he comes from a producer background, you know, he's so meticulous on what he wants. You know, it's important, you know, nowadays. When you work with him, he knows exactly what he wants. You know, he's punctual with what he wants and how he articulates his sound, you know, and I think that's important, and that shows traits of fucking longevity. You know, I anticipate Keem taking over the game.
Yeah, no, Keem's going to take over for sure. I asked this to Party Next Door's producer. His name's G-Rai. And I was like, yo, because he just did Laugh Now, Cry Later, right? Which I think that went like #2 or something. And then he's done like classic deep cuts for Party Next Door, you know? So I want to ask you the same question. Like, what's the difference in fulfillment for you in doing a #1 record like, I guess I think you did Humble, and then let's say like something that's like a deep cut, but it's like such a classic like deep cut, you know?
Asking as far as like
what fulfills you more, you know?
What fulfills me more is full projects. You know, if you know, records, you know, hits usually end up on them, but I like to work on full projects. I like to see something. I like to see a picture being painted from the ground up, and then seeing it being exhibited, you know, in its full potential. You know, that is better to me. I don't do too many singles. You know, but you know, when it comes to like an album cut or a hit record, you know, if this is answering your question, I approach them all the same. They all feel the same. They're pieces to an overall goal. You know, a hit single, it's going to be a hit single to the masses, but for the overall goal and the overarching plan for this project, it's just a simple piece. You know what I'm saying? So I approach it just as that. You know, where does this piece fit in the long, you know, in the overarching plan of this album? You know?
Oh, I hear you. Yeah, I mean, cause some producers, like even my homie K Beezy, he did the song Mood with ENDR and 24K. He was saying like once you do that hit song, you know, it's like a drug. It's like you you just want to keep replicating that, and you keep trying to make stuff to, you know, make.
See, mixing and production is different because I mean, producers, you know, I can imagine producers, you know, follow those trends. You know, after they make that first hit, okay, boom, I have this recipe. I'm gonna follow this recipe. You know, but as a mixing engineer, it's not the same case because you know, as a producer, you follow the same recipe. You might be using the same drums, same keyboards, same synths, same 808s. You know, and replicating that over and over again. Maybe different tempo, different melodies, but at the end of the day, you're replicating it. When it comes to mixing, you approach every song as if it's new, using different plugins, using a different approach, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's really relative to, you know, me personally, the way I speak about this shit is religious to me, you know? It's more of like, you know, I don't take the shortcut when it comes to just using presets and duplicating things and doing them such that way. You know, I approach it in a way to where everything is touched for the first time, you know? And I think that is, you know, is what helped me sustain this long of a career is having that mind state, is walking into a room knowing that this is the first day of work. It's like the first day of school. You know, and approaching it as such, approaching it as if I've never heard it before and I'm gonna try a new approach to make sure this motherfucker reaches his best potential.
Yeah, I get you on that. There's, who did we interview? You know who Anthony Kiloffer is?
Of course.
Yeah.
Shout out to Anthony.
Yeah, legend. And he said at times, like, you know, Kanye would just give him like strict instructions, like, yo, just here's a song, do this, right? But I've noticed that you've done songs like This Is America where I feel like you've gotten more creative freedom on things like that. You know, what's another time when you've just had such creative freedom where someone, you know, gave that to you and you did something like super dope with it?
First of all, I say every song I work with, one of my stipulations with working with me is, you know, I don't want to just remix the reference you have. You know, I want to be able to add my 2 cents. You know, if I can't do that, what are you paying me this money for?
Fair.
You know, and luckily, you know, I had, you know, the career with working with Kendrick and, you know, help developing his sound when it comes to, he would come in and record a vocal and just, you know, hey, Ali, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Because he knows that I'm gonna go above and beyond. He knows I'm gonna try different things. Okay, this is not gonna work. This effect is not gonna work. Let me try this one. That's not gonna work. I'm gonna try this one, you know? But I think from building with him up until the point when you hear in Section 80, Kendrick Lamar, OD, EP, Good Kid, Mad City, fucking To Pimp a Butterfly, you know, that's when artists realize, yo, I think we will get the best results if we just let him do his thing.
Right.
You know, so any records you hear me work on, I have full creative freedom to have fun, you know?
That's hard, and it's honestly difficult to get to that point because you have to kind of make a name for yourself in order to be able to do that because, like you said, you know, you can just pay someone and be like, yo, just do what I'm telling you to do, or you could find someone that's, you know, has like a vision as well.
Right, because at the end of the day, like I said, it's spiritual to me. I look at this as painting, you know. Why would you give me a painting that's already painted to have me just write my name on the corner of it?
Right, yeah.
You know, I want to get in there and I want to, you know, I want to sculpt it along with you. You know, I want to help direct the sonic expression of what you're trying to get off, you know. I always talk about, you know, a good analogy for an artist and engineer relationship. It's like going on a road trip with your homie, right? The artist knows where he wants to go, but it's up to the engineer to take you there, you know. So I want to make sure that I'm taking that motherfucker to the right place.
Hell yeah. You know who Hector Delgado is?
Yeah,
yeah.
Bro,
you guys
naming all the homies, bro. Like, what's up?
Well, the reason I asked is because, you know, he was telling this story about when they made fucking Problems, and this made me look at mixing as like a really stressful job because he was saying that they were on tour and I think they were in like Utah or something, some like place way out there, right? And then some hacker like hacked Kendrick's email and then they were gonna leak that song. So Hector had to like get out of the bus, go to this like coffee shop with Rocky and like quickly like mix it and stuff, right? Do you remember that? Because I know you also mixed that song too.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Little do people know, you know, just people getting a hold of song. Well, back then at least. Now it's a different time.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, man, like we were dealing with hacks left and right. Even with A Good Kid, you know, there were people trading songs on blogs like Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that was a big cultural thing back in the day, back in the early 2010s, you know? But yeah, man, we were on tour heavy, and I can imagine. I wasn't there specifically.
Oh, you weren't there
I wasn't there on that bus specifically, but man, that's something that we were all dealing with. Shout out to Hector, bro, because he pulled off a lot of miracles that a lot of people don't know about.
Like what's one of them other than this?
That's one for sure that I would talk about because you just put it out there.
Yeah. Okay. Word. No. Shout out to him, man. I think mixers have a lot of things they do, and like sometimes people don't even know about it. But
right, the unsung heroes. Like I talk about them being, like, especially nowadays, which I'm so happy with launching this platform and really just shedding light on audio engineers because now I think for the first time if not ever, you know, they're getting their love, they're getting their flowers, they're being put on pedestals by the people they're working with, the artists, the producers. Because at the end of the day, a lot of these artists wouldn't sound the way they sound without their engineers.
Right.
These beats wouldn't sound the way that they sound without these engineers. And there's a real trifecta, there's a real triangle offense when it comes to creating a record. And it's the artist, the engineer, and the producer. And I think just the notion of the problem. The problem is your music sounds like shit, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, now that people are understanding what the solution is getting a good engineer behind you. You know, I think that's the new culture moving forward.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. I think there's a lot of artists from my city actually in Vancouver, which, you know, like people don't know about yet, but there's this one really good engineer. His name is Koltar, and I've just seen him like save people, like literally, like some artists you work with, I'm like, I don't know about you, but like when he does stuff, I'm like, wow, you literally saved the song, bro.
Engineers are artists nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, the way they're really just painting the picture, using the artist's voice just as instruments.
Hell yeah, man. So is it pronounced actually engineers or EngineEars?
EngineEars. So
Okay,
just think like
word.
a car engine and ears, but
Word.
you know, engineers.
So tell me a bit more about that for people who don't know. You know, like how did you think of it? How did the name even come about?
The name, I really had the name longer than I even had the idea of what it was gonna be.
Yeah.
I think like 2007, like I came up with the name just because like it just sounded tight to me,
Yeah.
you know, like. But you know, in the beginning of my career, people always pushed me away. You know, this young, hungry kid can potentially take my job one day. And what the fuck does he know? He came from the hood. He didn't go to school. He doesn't know how to do nothing. So why would I give him a chance? You know, so that kind of left this chip on my shoulder per se. Telling myself, you know, once I get to this level in my career, I want to be that person that used to always shit on me, but I want to be the person that I wish I wanted them to be. I wanted to be somebody that can give back to those diamonds in the rough. You know, give the information. You know, let these people know where those landmines lay so they can kind of maneuver around them while I took the punches.
Right.
So, you know, a couple years ago, I got to the point in my career where, you know, I felt it was time. You know, a lot of people kept asking me information for tips and how do I do this, how do I do that? So I'm like, yo, let's start an Instagram. Me and my business partner, Dan Maynard, we just launched the EngineEars Instagram. And that was just, you know, leaving inspirational quotes, techniques, tips, things that I've acquired over the years.
Yeah.
And, you know, we kind of put them into, you know, small social posts and gave them to people. It grew so fast to the point to where we said, yo, so we had the idea to do a workshop, you know, being able to do a 5-hour course. In person, you know, a 5-hour course in person where the first half was, you know, me talking about my story. How did I get to where I am today? And the second half really deconstructing one of my biggest songs. And then, you know, explaining my thought process, showing the tools that I use to create some of the biggest hit records. You know, we started getting people from all over the world hitting us up, yo, come to Germany, come to London, come to Japan. It kind of blew my mind. So we kind of just said, fuck it, you know, dropped our nuts and just dropped like a world tour. So we did the Sing Sounds world tour. We did 15 workshops across 4 countries, including Japan, Korea. We did London. We did all through the States. We did
you do Canada?
Yeah, we did Toronto at House.
Oh.
Shout out to Lamar and the guys over there. Yeah, and with the XO. Yeah, so we did that, and then again, we asked all of our attendees, you know, what are the issues you all are dealing with on a day-to-day basis as an early creative?
Yeah.
You know, what are the problems you're facing when it comes to growing your business as an early creative? And, you know, I really said, holy shit, you know, all the issues that these people are dealing with, I'm dealing with the same problem.
Right now.
And I'm Mixed by Ali, yeah, and I'm up there, and these guys and these girls are dealing with the same shit that I was dealing with. So I said, this is a problem. How can we fix this? Essentially, EngineEars provides independent creators with the tools to streamline their business via end-to-end business management solutions. Payment tracking when it comes to file transfers, communication, when it comes to getting credited on time. You know, we make sure that we set accountabilities and disciplines on both sides of the marketplace to make sure that we fix those fucking problems.
So those were the main problems that they were telling you about.
100% payments. Yeah. Is, you know, an engineer can do a work today, do a mix or record a song today, but not get paid until 30 or 45 days later.
Yeah.
How can anybody sustain a business, let alone a lifestyle based on that? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. So, you know, essentially, that's everybody's number one problem is tracking payments. So we make sure that you're paid on time. We make sure that you're credited correctly. Yeah. We make sure that the antiquated business models of sending files back and forth and you spending more time, you know, decoding 5 emails with the beats, the vocals, the ad-libs, decoding that shit. You're spending more time doing that than you are creating.
Yeah. Yeah, well, let's say, for example, what you mentioned about sending files back and forth and making that easier. Like, how exactly did you kind of, you know, make that happen?
You upload your reference track, you upload your stems. We set disciplines with the algorithms that we created that kind of look at your stems, make sure you're uploading the correct files. The engineer receives them, they download the reference, they listen to the reference and then look at the stems that were sent. If the right files were not sent, they could decline the project and explain why. Okay, I'm declining this project because the vocals are not right here, or I'm missing a bass, or I'm missing a drum file. So now the artist now has to go back, upload the correct files, send that back to the engineer. If they're correct, then the engineer is going to be able to mix their record.
That makes sense. Yeah, no, I could definitely see if I was an engineer, how that would make my life like much easier.
100%.
Where did I see this? I think I read it in an article. Someone was like, at when you were touring, like some of the people were like in tears because they're just like so happy,
It's, man, it kind of, that right there kind of fucked me up, because it's like, I'm a kid that dropped out of school. I'm a kid that, come from those those crazy circumstances. And, I'm used to people staring at me because they remember some fucked up shit I did to them back in the day. But now it's they're staring because, they idolize me, they look up to me, and that's powerful.
Right. Have you ever had, obviously I feel like the answer is yes, where people are just like, hey, yo, give this to Kendrick, give this to Schoolboy Q.
All the time. And if it's my size, I might wear it. I might keep it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not talking about clothes. I'm talking about like a USB or something.
That's a fact. When it comes to beats and stuff, and I actually listen to them. When it comes to beats, because for one, it could be resampled. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different opportunities that can happen. I've met a lot of talented producers from around the world that has given me heat.
And you've done something with it? Or?
I mean, I think if anything, we've tried. If not, actually got something placed. You know, so for sure, just keep sending them flash drives when you see me.
Damn, I did. Most people are just like get annoyed about that shit. You
got to realize, man. Like again, there's diamonds in the rough. These people might just be like you. This one flash drive might save. This one flash drive that you might get from a kid in Auckland, New Zealand.
Yeah.
Might change both of our lives. So why not give it a listen?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but I'm sure people also like say things to you like, yo, man, like tell Kendrick to drop, or like tell Kendrick to make this album with Cole. Like you probably get mad DMs like that, right? And stuff like at this point, I'm guessing you just kind of ignore that, or?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's people trolling. It is what it is. Obviously, people are anxious for the projects because two talented artists, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But it's part of the game. People got to understand that people are human. People have real life that they deal with. And it's something. When the time comes, it's gonna come. It's gonna come hard.
Well, that's pretty much it, man. Yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this, bro.
Thank you for coming out, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Love.
You guys are watching Kids Take Over. It's Mixed by Ali.
Shout out to EngineEars.
Yo, guys, thanks for watching that video. Shout out to Ali. And I know you guys saw something a little special in this video. I see a lot of you guys catching on to it now. But just stay tuned for that if you know what I'm talking about. And otherwise, man, I just want to say thanks for watching. And definitely subscribe to the channel. But we have a Discord where I actually, here and there, I come and talk to you guys. The KTO team members are always talking to you guys, and you guys are talking to each other about anything really, like hip hop, life, whatever. It's our Discord chat, so go join it. The link will be in the description first thing. Go join so I can talk to you guys. And yeah, see you guys next video.